If you were looking for a sign to go see Mufasa, this your sign. Go and see that movie. It was so good, and it was packed with so many different gems. And if you a kingdom kid like myself, baby, it was so many different revelations that lie in what some would deem to be a children's movie. But remember, he tells us to have childlike faith. So sometimes you have to put yourself in that space just for God to be able to talk to you. Now, for those of you who don't know, Mufasa is a movie that was made based off of Lion King, and it's about the life of Mufasa and Scar. And it's so good, and it tells you, how Mufasa got separated from his family, how he ended up meeting a tribe of people. He met Rafiki, he met his boo thing, he met a bird, and just how no matter what happens, everything is gonna work out for your good. Now, what happened was Mufasa ended up being separated from his family when he was little, and he ended up being connected to another family, and the family that he was connected to was not his family, but the father, the king of that particular pride, did not want to accept him. And so what the hallelujah, glory be to God, it was so good, y'all. What the father was like, we not accepting him, but the mother was like, no, he lost his family, he needs somewhere to go, I'll take him in. And so the father was like, all right, boom, he can raise my son, and if he beat my son, cool, he can stay, but he got to stay with you, he got to be with the woman, right? He can't come and be with the man because he not one of us, he not part of my pride, right? And so what happened was he ended up beating the son, and the son and Mufasa ended up being like brothers. Now later on we would go to find out that the son was not just any old son, the son was Scar, but his name first was Taka. So anyways, the son was Scar. And so you kind of wonder and you ponder, well, did Mufasa beat Taka or Scar because he honestly beat him, or did Mufasa beat Scar because Scar took into account that if he lose, my daddy gonna eat him, so I should let him win? Or was it by God's perfect design that Mufasa won? Or was it that they were running for two different reasons? Because it's different when somebody is running for their life and when somebody is just running for competition, right? That's why when the race is not for the swift. Hallelujah, glory be to God. So anyways, he ended up beating them, and they allowed Mufasa to stay in the pride, but he couldn't stay with the man. He had to go with the woman. Now, anybody who watch the Animal Kingdom, anybody who watch Animal Channel, y'all know that's my thing. I love it. I love it. I love it because it's so true. It's based off of truth, and it's based off of nature, and it's based off of God's perfect design. And I just love to see how animals move in nature and how they think and how their instincts work naturally. That's an expression of God, in case y'all do not know. So anyways, Mufasa was made to sleep with the woman. He was made to run with the woman. He was made to hunt with the woman. So what the father thought he was doing, he thought it was going to be a punishment to Mufasa to separate him from the man. But just like Joseph and how his brothers tried to separate him, and how his brothers tried to do away with him, and how they tried to do him in, it ended up working out for his favor. Because Mufasa now, he wasn't just any old lion. Now Mufasa is a lion who does not only have a male instinct, but by nature, but he also now has female instinct, because he was able to learn something while being cultivated in that space. He was able to learn something that the other males around him did not have. So he grew and he had an advantage. Now, this same advantage is what helped him. And what happened was some outsiders ended up coming and attacking the woman, and if it wasn't for Mufasa being with her, she would not have made it, more than likely. And so she went back and she told her husband, her baby daddy, her boo, whatever it was. She told him, like, look, man, these people just came up, just ran up on me. And if Mufasa wasn't with me, I don't know what I would have did. And so the daddy, the baby daddy, the husband, the boo, whatever it was, he was like, oh man, I owe you, Mufasa, blah, blah, blah. You did this, you did that. I'm indebted to you, that type of thing. But the entire time, when it happened, his actual son ran. So he was given the same opportunity to fight for his mama that Mufasa was given, but it was instinct for Mufasa to do it because he had been cultivated in a different space. He had been something had been birthed in him to just do what was natural to him, and what was natural to him was not natural to Taka. So Taka ran, and you would think he would have been the one that stuck around because that's your mama. How I'm fighting for your mama, but you gonna run off? How you gonna run off on the plug? So, anyways, what happened was when the daddy, baby daddy, husband, boo, father, whatever, when he found out that his son ran, he was like, look, don't tell anybody that you ran because we got to protect the bloodline. Don't nobody got to know that you ran. Just keep that on the hush. Keep it on the down low. Hey. Nobody have to know, but that's bull. You get what I'm saying? And when we talk about, remember last night we were talking about being accountable. He needed to be accountable, so therefore he can change. Because if he was trying to hide it, then he was going to continue to hide things all along the way, which he ended up doing all throughout the movie. Like very, very, very peculiar. Anyways, so what happened was when that other tribe had attacked them, Mufasa ended up killing that king's son. So I mean, the king was tight. He was like, "Nah, we gotta get them. I ain't with none of that. Like, y'all done killed my son." So he wanted to know who exactly killed his son. So he came back to fight them again. But this time he came back when the daddy, baby daddy, father, and Bujang, when all of them was around, right? And so then the daddy, baby daddy, father, Bujang, he was like, "Look, son, you go and start a new life somewhere else. We're gonna handle this. We're gonna fight. Y'all gotta go though." And he was like, "Don't just go by yourself. Go with Mufasa." But the daddy knew that Mufasa should go with his son because he knew, low key, he knew that his son didn't have it in him to fight like Mufasa did. He knew that his son didn't have that instinct that Mufasa had. But before they left, Mufasa told him, he said, "Look, y'all gotta do this, y'all gotta do that, y'all gotta do this." And the daddy was like, "How you know that?" And basically he was saying like, where would you get the information? But what he knew that Mufasa was special, but he didn't know how special Mufasa was. He didn't know that Mufasa had a sixth sense. He didn't know that the space that he had sent Mufasa into as to be an alleged punishment was actually his training ground. And so he had learned some things that none of the other lions had. So he was part lioness by mind, and he was lion by nature. So anyways, he told him, and then he said, "How would you know that?" And then the woman confirmed what he was saying. And the dad was a little tight, like, that's crazy that he would know that, blah blah blah. He was a little jelly. So anyway, he sent his kids home. He sent his son, he sent Mufasa on. They went on about their business. And like I said, along the way, they end up meeting a bird. They met the woman, they met Rafiki, the bamboo, or the boo bamboo. What is it? The bamboo? Not the bamboo. What is it called? The monkey. What? Not a bamboo. Baboon. My goodness. Girl, what in the hook on the baboon came along. And it was by God's perfect design because everybody had something unique to offer, right? With the exception, hate to say it, well, not even with the exception of, I was going to say with the exception of Scar, but he actually did play a role in saving Mufasa and protecting Mufasa, and not even in the ways that he meant to do so. But once he realized it, he began to be prideful about the way that he had saved Mufasa and what he had done for Mufasa. He began to throw it in his face, and I saved you, I did this for you, wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me, this, that, and the third. Right. So Scar ended up getting a crush on the girl. And what happened was everything that was known to be of kingly attributes, Scar didn't have them, even though he came from a bloodline. So he was supposed to be the next in the pride, the next in his particular pride to be the king, because his daddy was the king. But he didn't have the attributes. It was Mufasa who had the attributes. It was in him. It won't own him. And Scar began to get jealous of this. And so he developed a crush on this woman. And Mufasa ended up telling him, things about this woman by using his sixth sense, things that he could smell, sense, and feel. And he gave the information to Scar to give him a leeway on how to get to this woman and how to connect with this woman. But something about a woman and our intuition, we know who our king is. So anyways,